What's going on, Niner fans? I'm going to stay by the phone tonight. This is one of those nights where you got to stay by the phone. Did you guys? I was about to hop on a few minutes ago, and then I had to make a post. Did you guys see what Amari Cooper? This is too much. This story just needs to end. Every hour, there's a new update. There's a new plot twist. There's so much going on with the Brandon Aiyuk story. We got to talk about it tonight. How's everybody doing? How the hell are we doing? I wanted to come on live earlier. All the news was dropping, but had to take care of some business. But how are we feeling tonight? So let's get to it, man. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's get to it. We all heard all the tea today. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. So let's just recap of what's going on. I'm sure you guys know, but you know what? We're going to talk about everything today. So earlier, Jordan Schultz, he was the first to report that the 49ers and Brandon Aiyuk recently had a sit-down meeting with Kyle Shanahan and others in the organization. Parag, Kyle, I'm guessing, Jed York, the big hitters. Sat down, John Lynch, the agent, and they had some open and candid thoughts that were expressed. So everybody got what they needed to get out of their system. And this was reported a couple of weeks ago, too. Like, they had a meeting. Looks like they had another meeting. Like, they said, look, we got to figure this out, right? The two sides have now restarted negotiations with Brandon Aiyuk on a long-term deal. And there's optimism that Aiyuk could remain in San Francisco, right? It's a fluid and sudden development. This was from Jordan Schultz, right? We know that. We saw that report earlier. And Tom Pelissero, then he went on from the NFL Network, and he went into detail about, what's going on. The 49ers have renewed effort in recent days to strike a long-term deal with Aiyuk, right? So the situation is fluid. Other teams, including Pittsburgh, are still in the mix. Return to San Francisco appears increasingly possible. So it looks like they're trying to get him back. They tried to trade him. We all know there was a failed trade with the New England Patriots. Patriots said, this is what we could give you, $32 million. Aiyuk said, I'm not trying to play in New England, in Foxborough. You don't have a good team anymore. Nope, not going to do it. Career suicide. So we knew that was on the table. We know the Niners and Brandon Aiyuk have been going back and forth on money. Brandon Aiyuk's hung up on a certain value, whether it be 28 or 30. You don't know exactly, but it sounds like Brandon Aiyuk's camp wants like 30 million. Niners are like 26. We're not going to budge from this. So there's a disconnect there. But now that these teams won't offer him a trade or what they want, fair compensation, the Niners are, all right, let's try to figure it out again. And according to Deanna Rossini, the 49ers could not get a deal in place with the Steelers. The Steelers haven't called them since last night. The Niners want a second and a third round pick from the Steelers. The Niners also want, a veteran receiver. The Steelers are saying, we're not going to give up Pickens. Ain't no way. We're not giving up Pickens. And the Niners are like, we want a veteran receiver. Okay, give us a second and a third round pick. Steelers says, no, we're not going to do that. So 49ers are like, they're not even talking to him now. They hung up. They said, we're not going to deal with them. Let's go back to the drawing board to Brandon Aiyuk and see what we can get. So they sat down, break bread. And now Brandon Aiyuk's like, look, I tested my value on the market. Team was going to pay me $32 million. We need to show you that that's my value. So Brandon Aiyuk, in a way, used it as leverage. The 49ers, in a way, used it as leverage for the other teams that were trying to trade for him. And here we are. We still have no resolution. And then according to Matt Mayoko, this is where it got even interesting. The 49ers had a deal in place. They had a deal in place with the Cleveland Browns. This is where it gets crazy. So Brandon Aiyuk said, nope, not going to Cleveland. Don't want to play with the Predator. I don't want to play with Deshaun Watson. And he turned out. So Brandon Aiyuk said no. The 49ers were ready to send Brandon Aiyuk to the Browns. And the Browns were going to give us Amari Cooper, a second-round pick, and a fifth-round pick. That's probably the best value you're going to get. Amari Cooper, fantastic. He would fit in right with the team. So you get Amari Cooper, good veteran receiver. That's what the 49ers want. A second-round pick and a fifth-round pick. The Browns said, let's do it. Brandon Aiyuk says, no, not happening. I'm not going to play in Cleveland. That's career suicide. And here we are waiting, refreshing our phones, trying to figure out what the hell is going to happen. My man Flood says, this is a soap opera. Niners, Days of Our Lives. My man Leon says, he got the same Pizza Planet shirt. This is probably one of the most iconic shirts. I love this shirt. Wore it to Disneyland last year. My man Esther Young says, Cooper in the second and the fifth is a crazy steal. It's a crazy steal. And then literally 20 minutes ago, right before I came on live, Amari Cooper throws fuel on the fire, and he put on his Instagram story, LOL, I wouldn't mind it at all. Amari Cooper, bro's like, I don't want to play Cleveland. We got this Deshaun Watson situation. I don't want to be here. It's cold in Cleveland. Amari Cooper says, I wouldn't mind it at all. He would love to play with the 49ers. Brock Purdy, Debo, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Kyle Shanahan. Amari Cooper would be like, yo, make it happen. Figure it out. What? What a night, man. What a night, man. What a day. What a night. This is drama. It really is a soap opera. Unbelievable, man. It was a dream scenario. If you're going to get rid of Brandon Aiyuk, which I know we don't want like that, he's good, but you have to get somebody good in return. Amari Cooper is a really good receiver. He's in his 30s, but he's got 2 more premium years than him, I feel. You got Ricky Pearsall. He could develop in the next 2 years while you have, Amari Cooper. And you got Debo. It would have been a nice move. But Brandon said, absolutely not. Amari Cooper don't want to play with Cleveland. What makes you think Brandon Aiyuk wants to play in Cleveland? So, Niners are looking like they really want to get this signed. But it's crazy because a few days ago it was like most likely a trade. Now it's like most likely the Niners are going to extend him. Who the heck knows? It's so crazy. Every day, every moment of the day, there's something new that happens, a new plot twist. There's more smoke. There's more reports. Nobody really knows what's going on. But every day, it seems like the tide shifts. Brandon Aiyuk has the ball in his court. Now it's up to the Niners. Can they pursue him? It is so crazy. This has got to be the most dramatic situation the 49ers. We went through Bosa, Debo, Kittle, Warner. I don't think anything is as crazy as this situation because Brandon Aiyuk said, trade me. The 49ers said, okay, we're going to trade you. And then he says, no, I don't want to go there. And then they said, okay, here's what we're going to offer you. And he says, no, I don't want that money. It's crazy, man. Drips, how we feeling? I'm just tired. I'm stressed out. I got a headache. My man says, how we feeling? That's how I feel. I'm stressed out. Saha says, I'm getting tired of this. Can we get this over with already? I think that's pretty much the vibe of all Niner fans is, let's get this over with. Let's figure it out. Figure it out. I'm tired of it. I'm getting tired of it. Because, there's a big problem. Not just named Brandon Aiyuk. There's a man by the name of Trent Williams. The 49ers need to get him. So Trent Williams needs to get his money. But you can't really sign him and get his money until you figured out Brandon Aiyuk. And I know people are saying, well, Trent Williams is a bigger priority. I get that. I'm not saying he's not. But could you imagine the hemorrhage, the amount of irritation, inflammation Brandon Aiyuk would have if you go and pay another guy instead of him? You gotta figure this situation. You've been trying since February. We gotta figure this out. This is absolutely getting draining. It's getting draining. It's hard to keep up. Every minute you refresh your phone, and it's like, boom, uh-oh, what happened? It's crazy. Amari Cooper's IG story is actually crazy. Do the Chiefs have drama? They got some guys that did some stupid stuff this offseason. Got arrested, car accident, all that. They got some stuff, but they don't have like this contract drama. Everybody's got something going on. Michelle says, let's take a look at some of the questions. You guys got a lot of good questions tonight. Michelle says, question is that BA is not training with them. Could have injuries if he doesn't have reps. So that's a good question, Michelle. It's not that he may get injured. That's definitely true. He is training on his own. He's not training with the Niners, so he'll be out of sync. He might be a little rusty, right? Just like Bosa was when he started the season. No matter how good you are, no matter how great Bosa was and is, he was rusty last year. Let's call it a spade a spade. He was rusty. Debo, he did get hurt because he was afraid to train because he didn't want to, risk himself to get injured. And then he actually did get injured. But, Debo also didn't come into camp in the best shape of his career, and he said it. But now he's a refocused guy. But that is the thing is, will Brandon Aiyuk be worth the money that he wants after this is all said and done, after the dust settles? You're not training, man. He's going to the meetings, which is great, but you're not. He wasn't there in training camp. And then the same thing with Trent Williams. I love Trent Williams, but the man has not been in training camp. He's going to get rusty. I don't care how good you are. Rust is going to be there. So, good question. My man Blood Moon says, do you believe that the Niners, Perfloria, that the Niners leaked this on purpose to point BA as a malcontent? What other purpose would it be leaked? I mean, definitely crazy that they leaked this, because they never leak information. They don't leak information. But this whole situation has been leaked. Like, we've been getting information from Pretty Rickies of the world, from Schefter, from everybody in between. There's so much news that's coming out on this situation. And I honestly think the 49ers are saying, screw it. We're just going to drop the information because we need it out there, and we want to put pressure on BA. They're pressuring him. Listen, I got some sources. I know what was going on behind the scenes, but I'm not the type of person that leaks them, because I like my sources, and I'm not going to like reveal my hand. I could have, if I wanted to, posted text and here and there, but I'm not going to say anything I know. It comes out eventually. The news that I get usually comes out. So, but there are people that they get news and information, and it's hard to keep some of that stuff in. It's hard to sit there and say, oh, God, I better keep this a secret. That's what people do. They get information. Maybe they don't get the full information. Maybe they don't get the whole story, but they go with what they get, and they drop it out, and then people start making stories, and it's just little strings of information. But I feel like the 49ers are doing this to put pressure on Brandon Aiyuk, because they want this to be over, just like you, just like me, just like Brandon. Everybody wants this situation to be over. So the 49ers are saying, fuck, here's all the information. Let it be known. We tried to trade him, and he said no. We tried to trade him, but he said no. They're letting it be known because they need pressure on him. So Kevin says, Raj, Aiyuk doesn't want to leave. That's evidence from Aiyuk's refusal to go. Absolutely, you're correct. He doesn't want to go. He wants to stay with the Niners because he knows this is the best option for him. Absolutely, he knows. Be career suicide to go to New England, Cleveland. Maybe the Steelers is where he would like to go. That's his preferred destination. And then he wanted to go to Washington because he loves their quarterback, their boys. You know, we all know that. But that's not going to happen. Washington said, nope, pull the plug on this situation. He doesn't want to go. He wants to stay with the Niners. He's made it clear, but he wants to have the price he wants. And it's crazy because the 49ers, it's not that they don't want to pay him what maybe he wants, but they also have a very interesting situation. You have Trent Williams, who needs to get his guaranteed money. Next year, you got Brock Purdy. You got to cut a little bit of money here and there. You got to trim the fat a little bit. And Brandon Aiyuk, $2 million, we might need to save for Brock Purdy. You know, they had to cut Juice. Juice wasn't happy. They had to cut his contract up a little bit. You know, they've done that every year with certain players. So I think it's a guaranteed money situation. I think it's the principle of Aiyuk wants to be respected. He wants to feel that respect. Maybe he doesn't feel respected. I feel like Brandon Aiyuk says, listen, I want to be here, but I need you guys to realize that $26 million in California is maybe 22 in California in reality because of the taxes. I can go down south, get 26 million. That's really 26 million. But he plays in California, so you have to consider that too. It's a respect factor. He wants guaranteed money. The 49ers are trying to say, hey, look, we love you, but we got other players to pay as well. And when you have a lot of star players, it catches up with you at some point. So it's a drama situation. It's a dilemma, and it's stressful. So, whew, crazy. My man Myth5 says, refreshing my phone, and Aiyuk's yapping at a fan account. Great. We got Aiyuk chiming in on us social media accounts, and he says it's one or the other. Stop dropping reports. But listen, man, that's what the media does. You got it. It's a crazy situation. This is getting to a fever pitch. It's getting to this ultimate point that we just need it to resolve. It just needs to be over. Like, I can't, if this keeps dragging in, because imagine if this drags into like the regular season, it's going to be hard to keep focus for this team. Like, you're going to be looking over your shoulder. Is he going to get signed? Is he going to get traded? No matter how great your team is, it will become a distraction. They need to get this taken care of, because once they get it taken care of, if they do, and he stays, you got to fix the relationship. It's going to take a little time to mend it, because this is now a toxic relationship in my eyes. It's kind of awkward. Those first few days, first few weeks is going to be a little weird when he comes back in the locker room. Like, I know his boys are going to be like, yeah, we got you, respect, glad you got your money, but it's going to be a little weird. Let's be honest with ourselves. They need to resolve it now so they can kind of fix this repair the situation. Brandon Aiyuk needs to get in there, start practicing with the boys. It's a weird situation. He needs to get in there because the longer he lets this drag out, it's going to take some time for this to resolve. You know what I mean? That's my point. My man says, is the report true, BA? And the Niners are trying to keep BA. Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. They can't get a trade for him. So they've kind of went back and says, look, we want to keep you, but we want to keep you at this price. But let's renegotiate. Let's see if we could come together and reach a middle ground. They're trying to reach a middle ground. The 49ers never wanted to get rid of him. They've always wanted to keep him. Kyle and Lynch, if you've listened to the pressers, they've said they want to keep him. They want to keep him. But it's complicated. And Lynch said it yesterday. Or sorry, not Lynch. Kyle Shanahan said it yesterday on KNBR. Like, they want him. It's just not an easy situation. It's very difficult, you know. And if we can't keep him, this is what Kyle said, if you can't keep him, you have to get fair value, fair compensation. But it's not always easy because other teams, they're trying to rip you off. They're not trying to give up much because they want to keep what they have to continue to build their team. But at some point, somebody has to let, a good draft pick or a player up in order to get a guy like Brandon Aiyuk in return. And then when they did, finally, Brandon Aiyuk says, no, can't do it. Don't want to do it. So that's where we're at. Oh, man. It's crazy. Seems like he wants to go to the Steelers. I think that he wants to go to the Steelers if the 49ers are just not going to pay him the money. He's just not going to pay him the money. So I think he really says, you know what? Screw it. Send me this. I think that's the one team he would go is to the Steelers. You know what I mean? This is the team he would go. So it's the team he would go to. It would be the Steelers. But what are they going to give us? They don't want to give us Pickens. They don't want to give the Niners a second-round pick or a third-round pick. What the hell are you going to give us? If you're not going to give us T.J. Watt, a receiver, and 2 draft picks is fair. You're not going to give us that. What the hell are you going to do? You're going to give us Mike Tomlin so you can be our offensive coordinator? You're going to give us Mike Tomlin? What are the Steelers going to give us? Saha says, when do you think this will get over? Honestly, Matt, your guess is as good as mine. I wish I could tell you a straight up answer. From what I understand, it's just not getting close. I heard that, earlier today, I was told that they tried, and he said no. And literally an hour later, that's when all this news dropped out. Like, I'm looking at the text right now. I'm looking at the text, and this is it. It says, this was 1:12 p.m. today. I swear to you. He says, fuck, man. They had a deal done today to keep him, and he effed us again. This was earlier today, and literally within an hour, Jordan Schultz and Tom Pelissero had made those tweets and reports. Let me see what time Jordan Schultz. He was the first to report this. So he reported this. I'm looking at 1:37 p.m. That's the timestamp. 1:37 p.m. And I was texted at 1:12 p.m. 30 minutes later, the news hit the fan. So they're trying. Nobody knows when it's going to get hit, man. So it's crazy. It's actually crazy how this whole situation, because I've kind of seen it unfold, and we all have, but I've seen it unfold like before my eyes, and I'm just like, God, man, this situation is never. It's stressful. It's not going to end. I'm sure that it's stressful for Brandon Aiyuk and his team. I'm sure it's stressful for Parag and the 49ers front office. It's crazy stuff, man. It's actually crazy. So, I don't know. I don't know what you guys think. Do you guys think it's going to get resolved anytime soon? Let me know. Do you guys think it's going to get resolved anytime soon? It just seems like it's going to continue to drag out. I don't know. What's up, my man Nathan? Showboat says, say they don't pay BA. Does he sit the whole year? What? Then what? Does he walk? It's great because the 49ers also said they could play him on the 5th-year option. They won't mind it because you got to remember, regardless of if he signs an extension or not, he's getting paid $14 million this year. That's the 5th-year option. He's getting paid that much. But if he sits out, he's going to get fined. He also doesn't want to sit out because people aren't going to like you if you're sitting out. Who knows if you got rusty after a year? A lot of players have sat out. Le'Veon Bell, and that was career suicide. That ruined the man's career. You know, he wasn't the same. Try to make a point, and it just doesn't. Where you need to go out there, you need to put film on tape. All right, you need to go out there and show people you could do it. But at the same time, if he's salty and he sits, that's going to hurt him. He knows it, but he doesn't want to go and play without the contract extension because if he gets hurt, he doesn't have the guaranteed money. So he might not play, and he'll get fined. And the 49ers, they still can keep him next year because they can franchise tag him. If they really want, next year they can say, cool, we'll franchise tag you. He's put himself in a tough position. Robbie says, when do we realize that BA is the real villain in the story? I don't know. I don't think anybody's a villain. I think both sides are playing a game. They're playing a game. It's a business. I think both sides are to blame. The Niners could have nipped this in the butt back in February, got him his money before the market rose. They chose not to, and then Aiyuk says, suck it. I'm trying to get big money. The market raised, pay me. Niners said, no, this is our offer. We got other players to pay. So both sides kind of screwed this by not being better at communication. But this is like a toxic relationship, literally. This is like a toxic relationship. One side doesn't want to talk. The other side doesn't want to talk. The other side's kind of cheating on the other side. Like, say, I'm going to go to the other side, dip my foot in the waters. I'm going to go hit Tinder and swipe, see what I can find. Okay, baby. Ooh, I like Washington. Ooh, I like Pittsburgh. And the other team's like, all right, screw it. Go play with the other team. Go play with that Tinder date you found. Oh, you don't like them? We're better? Well, this is what we're going to give you to stay in this relationship. And I don't like it. That's what it is. He's been cheating on the Niners with this. That's what I'm saying, Rob. He's cheating on the Niners he's literally Tinder swiping, and he found a date with the Steelers, and he loved what he saw. He swiped. He was on Bumble, and he saw the Commanders. Oh wow, he loved what he saw. And then they gave him they gave him a blind date. They gave him a blind date. They set him up with Cleveland. He said, "Oh God." They said, "Okay, we'll do one more. We're gonna give you New England. That's a nice date." He said, "I'm not even gonna pay for the bill." So that's where we're at. We're breaking this down as if it's a dating app. That's where we're at. This is crazy, man. Oh man, Blood Moon said, how awkward is it going to be for the Browns front office Monday with Amari? Dog, I still can't believe he threw that. I still can't believe he put that in his Instagram story, bro. Like, oh, I would have bought. Bro, the Browns are going to be like, yo, chill out, man. Chill out. You can't be telling us that you want to play for the Niners and not us. Like, that is kind of crazy. That was hilarious. So, man. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. I don't know when it's going to end. I just want it to end soon. My man Showboat says, Persal being hurt doesn't help. It doesn't help. Ricky Persal being hurt is not good. He's, it's it's training camp. Maybe they're being very safe, being cautious because they're doing the same thing with other players. You got to wrap this man in bubble tape. They're being cautious with Persal, and I get it. But the man never was injured in college. I'll tell you, that's a big thing. And that's one reason the 49ers like Persal. He didn't get hurt. They were like, ooh, I like that. He's a very durable guy. A lot of the players the 49ers drafted and signed in the offseason and free agency are supposed to be very durable guys. Jordan Elliott, Malik Collins, Leonard Floyd, et cetera, et cetera. None of these guys miss a lot of times. Knock on wood that stays the case. But Ricky Persal, they're throwing him over the middle. Traffic, right? In traffic, contested catches. He's a skinny guy. I love him. I think he's got good talent. He needs to bulk up. He will. But right now, it's like me. It's like saying, look how skinny my skinny ass, malnourished I look like. I'm not, but I look like it. It's like sending me over the middle. Oh, that hurts. Imagine me getting popped in the chest. I'll probably die. That's kind of what Ricky Persall is right now. He looks like me going over the middle, and that's not good. But I hope he stays healthy. I hope he does good. But he's not going to be able to replace Brandon Aiyuk right away. When Brandon Aiyuk came into the league, he was a skinny receiver. Now he's jacked. 4 years in the league, lifting those weights. The man is jacked. Ricky Persall, he's got some ways to go. And Brandon Aiyuk is a fantastic route runner. Not only that, a fantastic blocker. That's what got him out of the doghouse. This guy was blocking his ass off. And Kyle said, you know what? I respect the hustle. I think that's why so many people respect Brandon Aiyuk. I know this whole situation's kind of soured him. But listen, Brandon Aiyuk went from the doghouse to an all-pro receiver, a top dog. That doesn't always happen, especially Kyle Shanahan's team. How many players can sit here and tell us that they went from the doghouse to a star on the Niners? Not many people can say that, guys. Not many people can say that. Brandon Aiyuk, man. This guy was in Dante Pettis' realm to Kyle. He was in the doghouse. And he says, nope, I'm busting out. So, we need him, man. We need him. Kevin says, what's the injury? Ricky Persall, it's the same injury that he had earlier in trade. So it's the same injury he had in OTAs. In OTAs, he had a little bit of a shoulder issue. They didn't specifically say what it was, but that's what it was. It was a shoulder issue that he re-aggravated in training camp. In training camp, he had a hamstring. Before that, he had a hamstring injury. He came back, but then he re-aggravated the shoulder that he had it messed up in OTAs. And also, by the way, I hit myself really hard. That shit hurt. I can only imagine these players getting, damn, bro. I cooked myself up. That's a side note. Debtopia says, not 49ers, but what do you think about what's going on in Dallas? Yo, Dallas is screwing themselves. They got a problem on their hands. Dak, CeeDee Lamb, and Parsons. Niners, we got some issues, but those are 3 guys that are going to set the mark. I don't know what Dallas is doing, man. Oh, man. Screw Kittle over the middle. Roger over the middle. Yeah, throw me over the middle. I'll be dead. Robbie says, I think it's time to have an honest conversation about Brandon Aiyuk's talent. We hear about it, is how the team props up Brock. My question is, how much does having 4 All-Pro eligibles prop up BA? No, we've talked about that. And that's the thing. Brandon Aiyuk is very good. He's very efficient. 31st in receptions and targets. 7th in yards. Very efficient. But he does benefit from having all that traffic kind of taken away from him. We've talked about it. CMC, Kittle, Debo, Juwan Jennings, all these guys help him get one-on-one. He does run great routes. He does block better than so many receivers. But he's not on an island all the time. He's kind of open. You take away that double team factor. You double team him, you have all these other guys out open. Kittle, Debo, CMC, et cetera, et cetera. So it is a valid concern, and that is a valid question that the Niners probably raised in negotiations. Said, look, on the Niners, you might be 4th option, but you're getting premium, matchups. You go to another team, you're going to get double team, triple team. You're going to be one-on-one. Like, you might get 150 targets, but a lot of those targets are going to be very contested. Although Aiyuk is probably the type of player who says, hey, I'm a dog. I can beat it. Because that's the wide receiver mentality is I'm an alpha. I can beat it. So you're right, though. The Niners, I guarantee you, in negotiations, probably say, hey, look, dude, you might be 4th option, but your stats are going to be better here and anywhere else because you don't have to fight double team. So very valid point. And with that, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for today. We'll take a couple questions, and we'll see. The Niners have the oldest roster in NFL. I saw the average age 27. It's not old, but compared to the rest of the league. But Trent Williams figures into that. George Kittle, some of these older guys, you take away those, I'm sure that age drops. But the team is talented. They develop these players into studs. Sahaj, do you think we need to be on our phones today? Absolutely. I might not be sleeping tonight. Should we get Juju? No. Juju's downfall needs to be studied. This guy was a top dog, number 1 receiver. Everybody thought he was going to be the future of the league, and he washed out. He's so big. He got cut by the Patriots. Patriots don't even have a good wide receiver. Their top wide receiver is Kendrick Bourne. No disrespect. He's not a wide receiver. What? They were desperate to pay Brandon Aiyuk $32 million. They got rid of Juju Smith. This man is probably going to become a TikTok star. No disrespect to TikTokers, but that's crazy. He was a top NFL player. But I think when he was with Pittsburgh, similar situation to Brandon Aiyuk, there was a lot of other players. Antonio Brown took the limelight off of Juju. He didn't have to get double teamed. So I think that was a factor. Although I think Brandon Aiyuk's a very good receiver and he's better than Juju. So Kevin says, is it true that we cut Terrell Owens' son, Tariq? Yeah, unfortunately, they reached an injury settlement. He broke his hand. He posted a picture on his Instagram story. I posted it on my Twitter. Unfortunately, they reached an injury settlement. Broke his hand. They needed to get rid of him because you can't have injured players through preseason. So tough, unfortunate. Maybe he'll be back next year. Get another shot. So who are you looking forward to playing tomorrow? I'm just happy to see 49er football tomorrow. I'm happy to see there's going to be a reunion before the game starts. Aziz is on Houston. He's not in Tennessee anymore. Honestly, I want to see these rookies. Renardo Green, Malik Mustafa, Dominic Pooney. I want to see them get some action. Jacob Cowling, Cody Schrader. I want to see all these young guys go out there and do their thing. I heard Jair Brown might play. I want to see him get an interception. So last time we saw Jair Brown, he intercepted Patrick Mahomes. So we'll see. Big game tomorrow. It's not a big game, but I'm just happy that we have 49er football. It's not a big game, but it's a big game. It's a big game, but it's not a big game, if you know what I mean. It's a big game because it's the first game of the rest of the season. So anyways, you guys have a great rest of your night. Appreciate you for hopping on and letting me yap and talk. You guys had a good time here. 30 minutes. We get right to it, get to the point, and we have fun. You guys have a blessed rest of your night. Have a good night. No starters are playing tomorrow. Maybe like Jair, maybe like one or two guys that need to play, but there's no starters playing tomorrow, just so you guys know. You guys have a good one. Oh, status on Bufunga. He might be back next week. That's it. Love y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Appreciate you, Raphael. Appreciate you, everybody. Love you guys. Comments were fantastic. You guys are awesome. I love you.